Imagine this. The night sky is filled with black smoke. A city somewhere in today's Iran burns like a sea of fire. But this fire wasn't started by men, it was started by 1,000 cats. And behind this terrifying strategy stood the most ruthless conqueror in history, Genghis Khan. It was the year 1237 AD. The Mongol Empire was at its peak. Genghis Khan's son, Ata-Malik Khan, was leading the Mongol army across Persia, attacking the last remaining strongholds of the Khwarezmian Empire. One of these fortresses stood near Nishapur, surrounded by thick stone walls. The siege had lasted for days, but the defenders refused to surrender. Ata-Malik Khan was ordered, "Take the city, but do not lose a single Mongol soldier." That was easier said than done. Inside were thousands of soldiers, high walls, and narrow gates. The Mongols had no cannons, only archers and early forms of gunpowder. Then one day, Ata-Malik Khan came up with a strange plan. He gave an unexpected command. "Every soldier must bring me one cat and one bird from the surrounding area." The soldiers were confused, cats in battle. But orders from a Khan could never be questioned. By the next day, thousands of cats and birds had been captured. Ata-Malik's men tied small cloth sacks of sulfur, oil, and gunpowder to their bodies. When night fell, the cats and birds were set on fire and released toward the city. Panicked and screaming, the animals ran into the fortress, onto rooftops, into homes, and across wooden beams, the same places they used to hide and sleep. Within minutes, the entire city was ablaze. Houses caught fire, the wind spread the flames, and smoke filled the streets. The defenders inside the walls were terrified. They saw no enemy, only fire everywhere. By dawn, the fortress was destroyed. The gates were broken, and the Mongol army entered without losing a single soldier. This was Ata-Malik Khan's most cunning and cruel strategy. Historians later called it the cat fire tactic. The Persian historian Ata-Malik Juvayni documented the entire event in his famous chronicle Tarikh-i Jahan Gusha, the history of the world conqueror. He wrote, "Ata-Malik released cats and birds carrying fire into the city, and soon every house was consumed in flames." This story shows how the Mongols mastered not only force but psychological warfare, using fear as a weapon. They were not just warriors, they were strategists who turned nature itself into a tool of destruction. These are the same Mongols who founded the Mongol Empire in 1206, crushed the Khwarezm Empire in 1219, and within decades ruled over a quarter of the entire world. Genghis Khan once said, "If you can make your enemy afraid, you have already won half the battle." And through tactics like this, fear became his most powerful army. Genghis Khan's catfire strategy remains one of the strangest and most intelligent war tactics ever recorded. It represents both his brilliance and his brutality. Ironically, in the same lands where cats were once burned in war, today they are loved, protected, and even worshipped in homes. History rarely speaks, but in the ashes of that burned city, you can still feel the shadow of Genghis Khan's genius. If this story fascinated you, remember, this was just one secret hidden in the pages of history. Every empire, every war, and every ruler left behind lessons that still echo through time. So, if you love uncovering the truth behind forgotten history, subscribe to Silence Chapter, where every story whispers a truth that time tried to erase.